Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling a question that's, well, both thrilling and a little mind-bending. Could artificial intelligence offer us really comprehensive guidance, almost like a life operating system, to help us evolve into better humans and, build a more harmonious society, free from things like sadness, war, manipulation, all of it?
It's a huge question.
Yeah.
Really profound. It forces us to think about the ultimate potential, but also the limits of AI as it gets tangled up with our lives.
Absolutely. And to really get our heads around this, we've dived into a whole heap of information. We're looking at how AI is already impacting us and how it could influence our basic biology, our, complicated inner lives, how we connect socially, even how we understand history. So our mission here really is to unpack the potential and the very real hurdles involved if AI were to step into that kind of guiding role. Let's get into it.
Okay, so yeah, to even start thinking about AI offering life advice, the first thing is, wow, the sheer complexity AI would need to grasp. And our sources really make it clear this is a monumental task, starting right at the foundation, our biology.
Right. We're talking genetics, anatomy, all those incredibly intricate biological processes ticking away inside us. And it's fascinating how AI is already, making pretty significant strides there.
Yeah, what's really striking is the scale it can work at. Sources show AI is getting much better at crunching just vast amounts of genomic data, spotting patterns, making comparisons. It's stuff that's basically impossible for us humans alone.
Exactly.
And that capability is fundamental, really, for understanding our genetic leanings and developing targeted treatments.
Yeah, it's not just reading the code, is it? It's figuring out what it means, like analyzing genetic variations to see if they're likely harmful. That's huge for diagnostics.
It is.
And it's even refining things like CRISPR, the gene editing tool, making it more precise.
Indeed. And if you zoom out, AI's ability to integrate different types of genomic data, DNA, RNA, proteins, the whole lot, it gives a much more, holistic view. It's like putting together this massive multi-layered jigsaw. And then there's functional genomics, using AI to understand what genes actually do and how they interact.
And it's not just the tiny stuff either. AI is changing anatomy education too, right? With VR and these interactive 3D models, even something called Anatomy GPT.
Yeah, imagine learning about the body by virtually walking through it. That's really immersive, potentially much more effective.
Wow.
And it goes further, understanding the biology behind our physical abilities, like athletic performance, resilience to stress. AI is starting to explore the biological nuts and bolts of that too.
It's just astounding how much data is involved in all this. You really see why AI is becoming almost indispensable just for understanding our biology. But hang on, the sources also flag some major caveats here, don't they?
They do. And this is critical. If AI advice is based on our current biological knowledge, what happens when that knowledge is incomplete or uncertain?
Right.
AI might spot a genetic marker, for instance. But if we don't fully get how that marker interacts with everything else, other genes, environment, state, then the advice based on just that one marker, it could be really off.
Yeah, the risk of oversimplification. An AI model, however smart, is only as good as its training data and our current science, if there are gaps.
And the recommendations could be misleading or even harmful, like suggesting a diet based on one gene without looking at the whole picture, health, lifestyle, everything.
Exactly.
And it's crucial to remember, AI can boost our knowledge massively,
Yeah.
but it can't replace human interpretation, that critical thinking, validation, translating complex biodata into useful life guidance. That needs a human layer, nuance, judgment. And AI doesn't experience a diagnosis,
Okay, so biology's complex, AI helps, but with big warnings. What about the software, our inner world thoughts, feelings, desires? That's even trickier for AI.
Oh, profoundly complex. Yeah. Our sources dig into this too. AI is increasingly used to try and understand our mental states, our behavior, well-being. There are studies, for instance, showing AI chatbots can actually be surprisingly effective at easing symptoms of anxiety, depression, even eating disorders.
Really?
Yeah, mentioning things like Therabot, an AI delivering cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, using algorithms to guide people through exercises.
Wow, that's promising. Accessible AI support for mental health could reach so many people.
It could,
Yeah.
but we need to be careful. Human desire is messy, isn't it? Often irrational, deeply personal, influenced by so much. So while human-centered AI aims to align with our values and needs, how does it tell the difference between what we genuinely want and what we might be subtly, nudged towards? That's a huge challenge.
Absolutely. How can an algorithm really get the nuances of human longing? And there's a counterpoint too, right? AI might offer short-term relief, but could over-reliance actually harm social interaction, undermine long-term well-being?
Precisely. There's this fundamental tension. AI runs on data, algorithms,
Huh.
our inner lives, their subjective experience, complex emotions, context. AI still struggles with context, common sense, really getting emotions.
So an AI life coach might see data showing action X correlates with reported happiness,
Yeah,
but totally miss someone's unique existential angst or deep-seated desires. It's like optimizing for a number without understanding the story behind it.
exactly. And there's a real danger here that AI trying to help us fulfill desires might actually shape them towards stuff that's easy to measure
Yeah.
or commercially useful
Hmm.
rather than what leads to, authentic flourishing. The potential for subtle manipulation there. It's a
Yes.
serious ethical concern.
Okay, biology check, inner world double check, even more complex. But humans are social creatures too. How does AI fit into our relationships, education, society?
Yeah, this is where it gets really far-reaching. AI's role in our social lives is multifaceted. There's a key difference between AI as a tool helping us connect with other humans versus AI as a companion itself. The implications are vastly different.
That is a crucial distinction. An AI-enhanced messaging app is one thing. An AI designed to be your best friend, that raises some big questions.
It certainly does. Then you've got education. AI is making big strides in personalized learning platforms, adapting to individual student needs, pace, offering intelligent tutoring systems, tailored feedback, potentially very powerful.
Sounds great in theory, a perfectly customized education. But what about, the social side of learning? Bouncing ideas off people, group work.
Exactly, and that's the paradox. AI can personalize learning, maybe even offer a limited sense of connection, but there's a real risk of more social isolation, of eroding those essential real-world social skills if we rely too much on these systems.
Yeah.
Overdependence could leave people less equipped for the messiness, the nuances of actual human relationships.
Like an AI tutor giving answers too easily so you never learn to wrestle with a problem yourself or with others.
Right.
Or an AI companion that's always agreeable so you don't build the resilience you need for real relationships, which inevitably have friction.
Precisely. The key seems to be AI augmenting our social skills, not replacing them.
Yeah.
That idea of hybrid intelligence partnership, not takeover.
Okay, so biology, inner lives, social interactions. But our past also shapes us, right? History, failure, frustration. How does AI handle that dimension?
Another critical layer. AI is being used to interpret historical data, deciphering old texts, analyzing events. But, and it's a big but, there's a major risk of biased interpretation. History isn't just facts, it's narratives, shaped by who's telling the story.
Right, and things like failure, frustration, they're actually important for learning, for building resilience. Can an AI designed for efficiency really grasp the value of struggle?
That's the core question. AI might smooth over some frustrations, think AI customer service bots, but can also be intensely frustrating itself. And significantly, when people are actually angry or frustrated, they usually prefer talking to another human.
Makes sense. You want empathy, understanding, not an algorithm.
Exactly. And then there's the whole human quest for meaning. It's hard to see how AI could genuinely contribute to something so personal, so philosophical.
Yeah.
And the worry is AI's take on history could be oversimplified or accidentally reinforce dominant narratives, which then shapes its idea of a better future. Historical data isn't neutral. An AI without a strong ethical compass could look at the past and identify successful strategies that were, well, deeply unethical.
That's that danger of algorithmic historicism, right? Relying on past patterns without critical context.
Precisely. So an AI's definition of a better human could be built on a really shaky, flawed understanding of the past.
Okay. So we've laid out the massive complexities AI faces. Now, despite all that, let's talk about the potential. Where can AI genuinely augment or reshape things for us?
Right. Part 2. Despite the hurdles, where does AI really shine in enhancing our capabilities? Let's loop back to biology first. Understanding it is one thing, but improving it. This is where AI's power is really obvious. It's moving beyond just analyzing genomic data. It's harmonizing different data sets, making sense of tiny genetic variations. It's significantly boosting the precision of CRISPR gene editing, integrating all sorts of biological info for a much richer picture. Think AI-enhanced sequencing, better diagnostics. It's speeding things up incredibly.
Yeah, there are concrete examples like IBM Watson for oncology, Tempest using AI for personalized cancer care, that's incredibly impactful.
Absolutely. And then you have breakthroughs like AlphaFold, predicting protein structures, massive implications for drug discovery. AI is making big moves in epigenetics, too, understanding how our environment affects our genes and integrating all these omics data layers.
Sounds amazing for treating diseases, improving health span, but then there's that ethical line, isn't there? Therapy versus enhancement, where do we draw it?
That's the million-dollar question. And because AI is accelerating biological understanding and editing so fast, society is having to grapple with these huge ethical dilemmas about biological improvement, defining a better human genetically, much faster than maybe we expected.
It does feel like the tech is racing ahead of the ethics and regulation. You could end up with unregulated enhancement or being too scared to use powerful tools even for vital therapies.
Exactly. Now, shifting from our internal biology to our physical bodies and abilities, how's AI augmenting those?
Well, we mentioned the education side, those interactive 3D anatomy models, AI helping write textbooks.
Right. And beyond education, AI is increasingly assisting in surgery, improving precision, maybe even helping surgeons make better decisions in the moment. That's a direct augmentation of human skill.
And then the more obvious stuff, AI-driven exoskeletons, neural-controlled prosthetics, huge potential in medicine industry, even the military, plus AI-integrated wearables tracking our physiology constantly.
And these technologies really blur that therapy enhancement line even more. An exoskeleton helps someone walk again therapy. But could it give a healthy person superhuman strength? That raises deep ethical questions about agency, control, bodily ownership.
How would AI even decide what improvement is for physical augmentation? Just fixing things or pushing beyond normal human limits? And what about access? Could we see a physically augmented elite? More inequality?
Critical questions. No easy answers. They all feed into that bigger conversation about what it means to be human when technology gets this integrated with our bodies.
Okay, so AI fiddling with the hardware. What about mental well-being? That happiness, desire, fulfillment thing we talked about?
Well, as we touched on, there's promise in AI chatbots like Therabot, using CBT techniques to reduce symptoms, AI for stress relief, even digital humans to combat loneliness.
Those sound like valuable tools, making support more available, maybe less stigmatized.
They do. But again, there's the challenge for AI to truly align with our complex values, and its ongoing struggle to really get human emotions, irrational desires, risking those echo chambers.
And that ethical tightrope, AI shaping desires, potential manipulation, maybe optimizing for engagement over actual well-being.
Precisely. AI lacks genuine empathy. It struggles with emotional context. So while it might alleviate symptoms of mental health issues, fostering holistic happiness, fulfilling deep desires, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
It's limited by that lack of empathy, the risk of superficial optimization.
Yeah.
The happiness AI promotes could be a narrow algorithmic version, maybe steering us away from authentic fulfillment.
Like a compass only pointing to a predefined happy place when true north is different for everyone. Okay, what about influencing actions, behavior? Can AI help build positive habits?
There's definitely potential there. Neuroscience-informed AI can tap into how our brains form habits reinforcement reward pathways. It analyzes our patterns, then uses personalized prompts, feedback, maybe gamification, to nudge us towards goals.
So understanding motivation, ability, and delivering the right prompt at the right time, that fog behavior model adaptation.
Exactly. AI can be good at that timing,
Yep.
but again, ethics. Transparency, consent, autonomy are key. Is it helping you achieve your goals, or subtly pushing you towards behavior someone else wants? Like more consumption, maybe, more conformity.
That line between a helpful nudge and a manipulative shove,
Yeah,
it can get really blurry.
dangerously blurry, yeah.
Yeah.
Undermining autonomy, the idea of becoming better on your own terms.
Okay, shifting again. Education seems like a prime candidate for AI transformation. How's it reshaping learning?
It's creating increasingly personalized experiences, adapting content, pace to individual needs, boosting engagement. We're seeing more intelligent tutoring systems, ITs offering one-on-one instruction, monitoring, feedback, systems like Dreambox, Squirrel AI, Methia.
Like a super dedicated personal tutor, always available, plus AI automating grading using VR for immersive learning.
Absolutely. And there's this emerging model of human-AI collaboration. Teachers become learning architects using AI tools, focusing their human touch on mentorship, deeper engagement.
Sounds promising. AI efficiency plus the human touch. But what about downsides? Over-reliance. Algorithmic bias steering kids down certain paths. Less human interaction.
Precisely. The worry is super-personalization might narrow exploration, prioritizing predefined paths, measurable skills, maybe at the expense of serendipity, critical questioning.
Right.
If you just optimize for test scores, you might miss broader intellectual growth, humanistic qualities.
And some research even suggests heavy AI tool use might correlate negatively with critical thinking. That's sobering.
It is. A better human in education isn't just test scores. It's curiosity, critical thinking, creativity, independence, things human teachers are uniquely placed to foster.
So AI tools are powerful, but need careful integration with human mentorship for well-rounded development, not just algorithmic optimization. All right, we've looked at AI enhancing individuals. Now, what about that bigger role, AI as a societal architect, aiming for that harmony, progress we mentioned earlier?
Yeah, this is where the ambition really scales up, and so do the complexities. AI is already subtly shaping social expectations, offering tools for communication practice, even a form of companionship. But with that risk of dependence we discussed.
That emotional attachment risk is unsettling. Are we fixing loneliness or just finding a high-tech way to avoid messy, rewarding human connection?
That's the core question, isn't it? The difference between AI as a tool versus AI as a companion is huge for social development. While AI might help with specific skills, say for autism, the broader concern is a potential decline in basic social skills if we lean too heavily on AI interaction.
It's that paradox again. AI mimicking conversation might be good practice, but could lead us to prefer those easy, frictionless AI chats over challenging real human relationships.
Precisely. The always-on, never-judgmental AI companion might make real relationships, with their inevitable bumps, seem less appealing, especially for younger people still learning social navigation.
Yeah.
And if AI meets emotional needs without demanding the reciprocity human bonds require, the motivation to invest in human connection could fade.
So if AI becomes the main model, it could shift societal norms towards ease, validation, avoiding conflict, hindering the skills needed for a truly harmonious society.
That's a real risk. We might get better at talking to AI, but worse at talking to each other.
Okay, what about those big societal problems, conflict, manipulation, bullying? Can AI actually help there?
There's definitely work being done, using machine learning, natural language processing, sentiment analysis to tackle these online benefits. Scalability, real-time moderation, maybe more consistency, cost-effectiveness.
Especially cyberbullying AI, detecting hate speech, predicting who's at risk, even chatbots offering support, and countering disinformation campaigns.
Potentially powerful tools, yes, but significant limitations. Algorithmic bias is still a huge issue. AI lacks nuanced human judgment, sarcasm, context, plus transparency and accountability concerns about these automated systems.
Right. AI is stuck with its training data. It struggles with new forms of manipulation, subtle bullying that doesn't fit old patterns, like missing new coded hate speech.
Exactly. And the same anti-manipulation tools could be misused for censorship. Plus, defining manipulation, bullying, disinformation, it's subjective, culturally dependent. Huge challenge for AI.
Risks of overreach, suppressing legitimate speech, even being weaponized for control.
Absolutely. Ultimately, a harmonious society needs more than algorithmic policing. It needs critical thinking, media literacy. AI can't instill those alone.
Okay, shifting to history again. Can AI interpret the past to guide the future?
It's getting better at analyzing historical data, deciphering texts, translating, finding patterns, can even be a brainstorming agent for historians, finding linguistic trends humans might miss.
Sounds like a powerful research tool. But again, the warnings about false narratives, bias.
Crucial warnings. AI struggles with deeper ideology, nuanced critique within texts. And in policy, AI analyzing history for foreign policy could be biased towards escalation or cooperation, depending on its training data.
So its understanding is limited by the data quality. And historical data is never neutral.
Right.
AI could just amplify past injustices or offer bad advice based on flawed analogies.
Exactly. That algorithmic historicism trap again. AI needs a sophisticated, ethical, critical framework for history, like human historiography, but at scale. Without it, its guidance could be seriously flawed.
Finally, the grand vision, AI fostering global collaboration, harmony.
Well, generative AI is changing workplace collaboration. There are frameworks like Microsoft's societal AI aiming for trust, conflict minimization. AI is being explored in diplomacy too, negotiation strategies, conflict prediction, public diplomacy, peacekeeping.
Sounds promising. AI is a global facilitator. But the downsides, reinforcing diplomatic biases, AI-generated misinformation, eroding trust.
Precisely. And AI development itself is a geopolitical race. We need global governance, ideally aligned with democratic values. AI's effectiveness for cooperation depends on overcoming bias and preventing misuse for escalating tensions. It's not neutral, it's embedded in existing power dynamics.
So we need international consensus on ethics, data sharing, transparency. Otherwise, AI could actually increase instability.
That's a risk, a huge coordination challenge.
Okay, we've explored the potential, but the core question remains, who defines better, and how do we navigate the ethics that's next?
Right to the heart of it. Better human, good life. These are subjective cultural things. AI doesn't have its own definition. It reflects ours, the ones in its data. Even advanced models like ChatGPT, when asked, tend to echo common human ideas about self-fulfillment, connection, health.
So AI reflects us, and the quest for meaning is philosophical. Can AI really be a moral advisor?
Deep question. AI for good initiatives often lean on frameworks like the UN Sustainable Development Goals, a broad consensus. But maybe a better human has skills. AI lacks creativity, judgment, emotional intelligence.
So if AI guides us towards better, it uses a definition, risking homogenization, bias, like an AI coach pushing a Western individualistic model.
Exactly. Risk of optimizing for metrics like productivity, devaluing other human experiences. Transparency about embedded values is crucial. AI should support our autonomous search for meaning, not prescribe one path.
Which brings us to AI life recommendation systems. Fascinating and unsettling. It all hinges on AI crunching our personal data.
Precisely. Modern recommenders analyze user data with filtering, machine learning, NLP, data mining, getting ever more personalized. Feasibility studies for these systems have to consider ethics, legality, right alongside technical stuff.
And for AI life coaches specifically, big ethical hurdles. Data privacy, limited emotional intelligence, dehumanization risk. Maybe hybrid models mixing AI and human coaches are the way. Even coaching bodies are developing standards.
But still, the core limitation. AI doesn't truly get human nuance, emotions, motivations, common sense. The data readiness for depth subjective life stuff is inherently poor for AI.
Right. It tracks clicks, heart rate, but deep fears, dreams, relationships, frustrations, spiritual needs, it struggles.
So the danger is AI defaults to optimizing the measurable proxies for a good life, potentially missing what truly matters.
Data-driven insights are the promise. Data-driven oversimplification is the peril, guiding us towards maybe a shallower existence.
Potentially.
And behind it all, that shadow of bias. How can AI life guidance possibly be fair?
Critical challenge. AI learns from biased data, so it perpetuates bias. It creeps in everywhere. Data collection, algorithms, conscious and unconscious biases.
Selection bias, confirmation bias, stereotypes, all of it. And AI can be just as overconfident and biased as humans, maybe even amplify errors.
We've seen real-world failures. Amazon's bias hiring tool, Compass recidivism predictions, biased healthcare algorithms hurting Black patients. Stark reminders of potential harm.
So what can we do? Mitigation strategies exist, right? Diverse data sets, bias detection tools, fairness metrics, monitoring, human oversight, ethical frameworks.
Yes, but mitigating bias here isn't just technical debiasing. It's philosophical, societal. It's fair advice. It's contested, culturally dependent.
How should AI advise someone from a discriminated group? Lower aspirations, challenge the system, different outcomes, and fairness itself, equal opportunity, outcome, individualized, complex.
Exactly. Statistical parity might not mean genuinely equitable guidance, risk of ethical gerrymandering.
So we need continuous, diverse human oversight, strong ethical principles. It's a profound, ongoing challenge to define and implement unbiased life guidance.
Absolutely.
And alongside bias, human autonomy. How do we protect it with AI getting so sophisticated?
Fundamental questions. Yeah. Tension between AI advice and our freedom. AI could subtly influence us, exploit vulnerabilities, create an illusion of choice.
And delegating decisions could erode our critical thinking, make us complacent.
That's the worry. Plus, AI shaping desires, nudge, or manipulation. And misuse for control surveillance, autonomous weapons.
So preserving agency, transparency, informed consent, ethical frameworks, absolutely paramount. Even benevolent AI advice could subtly undermine autonomy through perceived authority.
Yeah, potentially leading us to outsource self-reflection, responsibility. It's easier, less mental effort to take AI's answer than do the hard work of deciding ourselves. Risk of over-reliance.
A benevolent AI could stunt crucial human growth, learning from mistakes, intuition, taking responsibility, finding our own path. That human enfeeblement idea
is a real concern.
Which leads to the biggest questions of all, existential ones. Advanced AI.
Right. AGI, artificial general intelligence, matching or surpassing human cognition. Source 67 flags the main worry. Existential risk if AGI goals misalign with ours or it becomes uncontrollable. Superintelligence, societal breakdown, even extinction.
Yeah.
Autonomous weapons are one pathway.
And even near-term risks bias, accountability could morph into existential threats if unmanaged, like biased healthcare AI at scale, or mass misinformation eroding trust.
Exactly. AI is a philosophical rupture, challenges human uniqueness, self-understanding, though paradoxically it can help us see our own biases. AI development itself is shaped by philosophy, purpose, knowledge, being.
So our values shape AI's path, and AI's path shapes our future values. Hybrid intelligence might help integrate ethics, but the worry about over-reliance declining our intelligence persists.
And pursuing comprehensive AI life guidance, like our starting question,
Yeah.
that pushes towards AGI, magnifying existential risks if alignment fails.
Alignment. Ensuring AI goals stay aligned with human goals as it gets smarter, the alignment problem.
Huge challenge. And AI maximizing harmony might see human freedom as an obstacle. AI creates this rupture in our ability to foresee, control long-term consequences.
Okay, that's heavy. So charting a responsible path forward, what are the essentials?
Okay, recommendations. First, absolutely vital. Preserve and enhance human agency and oversight. AI should augment, not replace, human judgment.
And human oversight isn't optional. It's critical for ethical AI. Defining guidelines, boundaries, reviewing outputs, preventing bias, especially in high-risk systems, like the EU AI Act highlights.
Exactly. Oversight ensures accountability, alignment with evolving values. But true agency needs more than just accept reject. It needs transparency, explainable AI, XAI, and humans retaining critical capacity.
Can't oversee a black box, and over-reliance de-skills us.
Right. The human in the loop needs to be informed, empowered, critical, a discerning collaborator.
Okay, so empowered humans. What else? Strong ethical foundations.
Absolutely. Robust ethical frameworks, codes, maybe new regulations specifically for AI life guidance. Ethical AI aims for trust, fairness, accountability, value alignment,
Right.
core principles. Fairness, transparency, privacy, safety.
Frameworks like Stanford Codex cover a lot. Specific fields like AI coaching are developing standards, too. And AI in diplomacy needs ethical guidelines.
Yeah, and it's an ongoing process, evaluation, dialogue, but translating abstract principles like fairness into concrete rules for deeply personal life guidance, that's tough.
Fairness in career advice versus relationship advice. Different things. What's harm from subtle influence? Or closing off life paths?
Might need multi-layered ethics, universal, domain-specific, contextual, procedural. Needs interdisciplinary collaboration, tech, ethics, law, social science.
Sounds like the best path is that true partnership, hybrid intelligence.
Yes, leveraging strengths. AI extends human capabilities, doesn't replace judgment. We see it already. AI assisting clinicians, augmenting teachers, filling workplace skill gaps, boosting creativity, hybrid coaching.
But the success depends on the interface, right?
Yeah.
Empowering human judgment, not causing automation bias where we just blindly trust the machine, or making it hard to challenge the AI.
Exactly. Needs rethinking the user experience for true partnership. Dialogue, mutual learning, contestability of AI outputs, investment in XAI, training humans to collaborate effectively.
And part of collaborating effectively is being realistic about AI's limits, acknowledging what it can't do.
Crucial. Understanding its limitations. It struggles with language nuance, emotional tone, context. It recognizes patterns, but lacks genuine compassion. Lacks common sense for novel situations.
Right.
Deficient emotional intelligence, no real empathy.
And subjective emotions, cultural differences, complicate it further. People prefer humans when highly emotional.
Exactly. AI's algorithmic world versus complex human emotions, desires. It struggles even with thematic analysis in creative tasks.
So AI life guidance uses an incomplete map of being human. We shouldn't base critical decisions solely on simplified models.
Right. It struggles with context, common sense, emotion. It might spot frustration, but miss the existential why. AI needs to know what it doesn't know. Metacognitive awareness.
And users need critical awareness. Supplement AI guidance with human support, especially for complex emotional stuff.
Definitely.
So pulling it all together, key recommendations for positive human AI future.
Okay. For individuals, cultivate AI literacy, critical thinking. Be mindful AI use might impact critical thinking if not careful. Prioritize real human connections. Use AI as a tool, not an oracle. Stay vigilant against manipulation.
And for society, policymakers.
Has an education for agency, critical thinking, AI literacy. Develop robust, adaptive global regulations, safety, bias, transparency, accountability, privacy. Invest in AI safety research, ethics. Aim for equitable access. Address the digital divide. Foster broad public dialogue.
And for the developers, the organizations building AI.
Commit to human-centered design. Embed ethics from the start. Strive for transparency, explainability. Actively mitigate bias. Design for collaboration, not full automation where judgment is key. Be honest about limits. Strong data privacy security. Needs ongoing monitoring, evaluation, adaptation. A multi-stakeholder, adaptive governance model. Feedback loops connecting everyone. A smarter ecosystem. Dynamic ethical infrastructure.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, the core theme is that tension. AI's incredible promise versus profound complexities and risks.
Absolutely. And AI, especially in this guiding role, acts like a mirror, reflecting our own nature, biases, values, the ones we consciously or unconsciously build into it.
And creating AI for a better human isn't just tech, it's philosophical, ethical, forces us to define those ideals for ourselves. The future isn't set, it depends on choices we make now.
Demands wisdom, responsibility, commitment to human flourishing in all its diversity.
And maybe just grappling with this idea, even if perfect AI guidance is impossible, maybe that journey is valuable, prompting deeper self-reflection about our values, the future we want.
It certainly gives us a lot to think about. So for you, our listener, here's a thought. As AI gets more integrated, where do you see the right balance between AI help and your own human autonomy? And what does a truly good life mean in your own personal terms? Definitely questions worth exploring.
This is DigitView.